Welcome to Warlock Home Video, Behind the Screams.
I was getting burned out with low budget pictures. I felt after 20 years it was just time to close that universe down. I was getting burned out by the schedule of shooting because I was making like 5 to 6 movies a year for 3 different companies. The money wasn't good anymore, the deals weren't good anymore, and I was tired. So I just wanted to have fun again. I felt like, why can't I just go back and do what I used to do, which was just get a bunch of friends together, pick up an old shitty VHS camera, and go shoot a backyard epic again. I had still been in love with VHS. I was still collecting VHS and noticing more and more through my friends, fans, through going to conventions and whatnot, that the VHS collecting thing was getting big. Even some of the retro movies, directors that were making films to emulate the 70s and 80s, they started doing special edition releases of their films on VHS. Now, I thought that was pretty fucking wicked. So I felt like, why don't I start a company, and it's a fake company, but real, because we would make the films. But I thought, wouldn't it be funny if we brought out this press release where like this old video company from the 80s was coming back. It was getting bought up by a new young producer who wanted to re-release the old films on special edition DVD and collector's edition VHS. And being a fan of all that, the VHS horror and shot on VHS horror and all the company names from back then, I just thought of what would be a name that would seem like it would be legit from that era and be similar to that style, and I thought Warlock Home Video would be perfect. So I started Warlock just to make shot on VHS horror movies again and make them as bad as possible, because back then they were. And people put a lot of heart and soul into what they were making, but they just came out horrible. And that was the charm of a lot of them. And that's why I love a lot of them. So I deliberately wrote, horrible scripts, and we started shooting these horrible movies and coming up with the worst names, worst titles for the films, because they all had shitty titles back then. And at first we wanted to keep the mystique going, like this was a real company, but like there were some curmudgeon-y turds out there who don't like to have any fun, who wanted to spoil it all, so we figured, what the fuck, and we cut the illusion short. But it did fool a lot of people. And now Warlock is just, we are. We make 80s shot on VHS horror movies. And that's it. Continue to have the crazy, ridiculous, over-the-top, dumb names, crazy, ridiculous, over-the-top plots, like you could have in the 80s. Shitty acting, bad dialogue, bad special effects, but kick-ass art for the posters and for the DVD and VHS releases. Because, as we all know, horror fans, the art was 90% better than the film that you were watching. So, and that's what we're doing. We're just bringing back the spirit of all that and having a blast doing it.
Stoic, my good man!